Hello, thank you. Welcome aboard the Tech Genius XY. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for your passport to programming in English and Hausa. Thank you for joining us in this presentation. So, our topic of discussion is Python controls data type. We are in lesson 9. We are going to start with conditional statements. Okay, before we go directly to our presentation, our learning objectives are here. We want, at the end of this session, you should be able to know the importance of control statements in Python and comprehend conditional statements like if, and else statements. Master looping structure, how to use while loop and for loop, and how to use control structures, including breaks, continue, and pass in your code. Okay, without much to say, I think once you familiar yourself with the Python's control statement, it will allow you to become a developer that works efficiently, and you can navigate through your code to make decision and execute specific tasks, enabling you with versatile and powerful programming functionalities. So what is if else statements? The if else statements are used to make decisions in your code. It's very important. We use it to make decisions in your code. They allow you to execute different blocks of code depending on a condition, if it is true or false. By using if else statement, you can make your code more flexible and responsive. So what is while or loops? So loops allow you to repeat blocks of code multiple times. That's why it's under conditional statements. Okay, so without wasting time, let's jump back to our interpreter. So here we are. We are going to start with the first statement. Just I've commented the rest out. So like we want to start with the if and else. So what is if? If is a keyword in Python. So this is if. That is why we don't use it, because it's a keyword. So we pass the condition. This is the condition we set here. Then this, after this, you have to remind. I have to remind you, we have indentation in Python. So whenever you have a block, you indent it. After a block of code, you give it indentation. So an indentation stands for either four space on your keyboard or tab. Single tab is equivalent to four space on your keyboard. By using IDLE, like the one I'm using, the online interpreter, everything is automatic. So even if I mistakenly I did not indent my, let me remove, I have deleted this, is showing underline red line. So that means it's not indented correctly, so I can just move it at the top and press enter. So it's going to automatic indent it back to normal, or I can press tab anyone I want, or I can take it back and use four space. You see, yeah, that is all. So it's easy to do. So there's so much way to uh, counter the error. Okay, so here I declare the variable as we normally do. This is a variable we declare for. Then we are checking. This is the condition after the keyword if. We are checking the condition is 4 greater than 5. We know 4 is not greater than 5. So this block of code will not be executed. We use the elif to go to the next statement, next condition. So elif in other languages like C, we call it else if. So elif in Python, we are going to the next condition. Is x less than 5? So this is 4. Yeah, 4 is less than 5. So that means this will be printed. We are going to enter this block of code. We are going to print this out. If this condition if and elif is not satisfiable, then this will get printed, this else, that is otherwise. We also use this statement to catch error. So we can use it to try and catch error in our program. So I have test run it. You can see x is less than 5. If you can maneuver, let me put 0 so that it turns to back to 40, and we run it. You see it is going to output greater than 5. Yeah, so that means this block of code run. So this is it. So now let me put it back to 0, or back to 5. Let's see what will happen. So this is either is not correct, not is not greater than 5, nor is less than 5. So that means the else part will get printed. That is otherwise. This block of code will get printed as we expected. So without wasting time, that is basically about this. Let's remove this comment. That is the doc string. Yeah, so it has printed out after some few seconds. So I'm going to comment this out. This is for loop. So what do you do with for loop? We use for loop to iterate over strings or list or tuple depending on the data type, or array in other programming languages. So we use the for loop to iterate through over a sequence of letters or numbers or whatever items you are dealing with. So basically that we you call the word for is a keyword like anything, any uh, blue color in our interpreter stands for reserve word. So that tells you is a reserve word, is an inbuilt word in Python. So if you use it, you are going to override the build functionality of that keyword. So that is why it's not advisable to use the reserve word. The reserve word are meant for Python only, not uh, for reuse by any developer, unless if you want to crash your program somehow. So the for loop, this is the syntax for calling for loop. You say for, you can either put it in curly braces, in bracket, I mean, or you can go straightly like this. We are using the range. The range is just a function that returns sequence of integer, and it has some bit of functionality parameters that you can pass and maneuver with it. But for now, we are just passing an integer 5, so that means it's going to count the number in sequence from 0 up to 5. So 0 is included, that means the counting will stop at 4. So that, and this x is a placeholder, so we are saying we should loop, we should go and iterate, we should start our iteration from x. The x stands for 0 up to the number where this one will stop, that is 5. So we'll start, if you start counting from 0, that means you stop at 4. So in this in is also a keyword in Python, so that is why it's in blue color. Okay, so inside this range, that means in range, inside this range function which will pass 5. So if we run this, it's going to print out 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is what the for loop is doing. I hope you get the idea. That is it on the side of the keyboard, our monitor. So let's remove this other strings, this the comments in multiple comment that I did. So in this case, we are using the while loop. While loop is also the same functionality with for loop, but this one has a specific speciality that make it so unique. So the while loop repeatedly execute target statement as long as a condition is true. So this one has to check the condition every time whether it's true. If it is true, it's going to enter the loop and it's going to print it out. If it is not true, then it's going to come out of the loop. So this is what we said, x, we declare x to be 0. So while 0 is less than 5, yes, we know 0 is always less than 5. So that means we are going to print this and we are going to increment by 1. So that means 0 plus 1 will now turn to 1. So the next iteration is going to be 1. Here will be replaced by 1. 1 is less than 5. Yes, we print it and we increment the 1. 1 plus 1, 2. So we come back here again. Is 2 less than 5? Yes, we enter the loop. We print the 2. We say 2 plus 1. Again, you get the whole picture until you reach 5, until you reach 4. So 4 plus 1 at this case is going to be 5. Is 5 less than 5? No, 5 is not less than 5. So it's going to come out of the while loop. That is how the while loop operates. So let's run it and see. So you can see we have 0 up to 4. Good. Just like we explained. So let's remove the second string, all this doc string. I put it there so that I will be able to run this step by step. Uh, so just like we explained the previous for loop, this is the same for loop like the previous one, but in this case we're adding some if statement. We are checking this condition, is x equals to 3. So can you guess what will happen here? And we are passing the break function. So that means if you see break inside a loop, it tells you to exit a loop prematurely. So that means you are not going to run the rest of the iteration. So that means once the program reach 3, because we are saying x equals to 3. So if we know for loop always iterate through numbers, so it's going to loop starts iterating from 0, 1, 2, 3. So if it reaches 3 here, 3 equals to 3, yes, it's true, then it's going to break. That means the rest of the 4 and 5 will not get printed. So let's run this and see. So as you can see, 0, 1, 2 here, that is the only iteration that got printed here. So 0, 1, 2. So 3 did not get printed and 4 was not printed. So basically that is all what we are doing there. So we are going to remove the remaining comment and let's test run this again. uh, I have explained this commenting why it's good so that we are not going to run into multiple errors. So this is the same iteration as the previous one, but in this case we are using the continue. So what does continue do? It skip the current iteration of your for loop. So let's run it and see by ourselves what is going to happen. So as you can see, it skip the iteration, nothing happens. If x equals to 3, we continue the iteration, but nothing is printed here. So that means it skip the iteration. So that is all about that continue. It's just going to continue the for loop without executing the rest of the part of the code. So okay, so we are back to our for loop just like the previous, but in this case we are using this list is a data structure in Python. So we are going to explain that when we reach there. So this is storing this variable, these strings apple, banana, cherry, and want to iterate through each one of them, want to print each one of them out. So we call the for loop, then we assign any name that we want should be in place of the items. So that is in, then we enter the list that is in list. We are going to iterate fruits in fruits that is inside this list, then we are printing it out. Don't forget your indentation, like I explained, is very useful. So if you run this, it's going to print out the apple, banana, cherry individually. So this is it. So here it is printed here. So and the last one, which is also while loop, we are going to remove this strings and then run the last one here. Okay, so we are still repeating ourselves. We declare this variable. We are checking here. Is this just like the way I explained the previous one? Is all the same thing. So without further ado, let's go back to our presentation. Okay, guys. So we are almost here. So this is your assignment. I would like you guys to run this assignment and see yourself. So we have come to the end of this session. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.